and showing the importance of syncretism through time, through our holy books, and most importantly, syncretism to nature. 4 shapes. We have the cone, which we also call the vortex. Have the sky wheel, the sine wave, and the analemma. All 4 of these shapes represent one thing, which is the sun's position in the sky. So every day, the sun is in a different position. And what I mean by that is literal. Here's the top of the sun's position, the peak that it goes to. And this is the bottom of the sun's position. What that means is when you're standing here on the ground, and you're looking up at the sky, it'll look high. It's a physical position. It'll look midline in the spring and in the fall, and it'll look low in the winter. Number 1 is the beginning of the year, the spring. And the reason this is the beginning is because where the sun is now equal hours with the night, 12:12, these shapes come back to what you physically see. This is the beginning, number 1. That's also explained in Exodus 12. and in Enoch as gate 4. So this is when the sun is right over top the equator. That's represented right here, Aries. At the equator here, it's represented here, Aries. At the equator here, and it's represented here on its vortex at the equator here. Gate 4 in Enoch's system. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, 12. These would be your months. Tenth month being in Capricorn. 10th month being December, DEC, Deci, Deca, 10. So Aries is the beginning. This would be Aries here when you look in the sky. It's going to look mid-position. So these names represent positions, not constellations. Constellations are named in honor of, if you will, these positions. But the Bible, the holy books, this is the science of the universe. You know this, and everything unlocks. And what I mean by this is the position of the sun in the sky. This also goes for the moon. The moon follows the same positioning. So right now, the moon is up in Gemini, and you will see, here's the ground. I have to tilt my head up very high to see this Gemini moon. So this is represented on a sky wheel. Gemini is high on the sky wheel. Gemini is high on the analemma. Gemini is high on its vortex. Gemini is high on the sine wave. All those things just represent this position in the sky. Same with the sine wave. It's representing height here at this peak, which is represented here as it's moving up the vortex. This is the peak. The top part of the cone, this is the top of the sine wave because it's going up and down. And this is the bottom part of the sine wave. So the sine wave is just this opened up, which represents the sun as it moves forward. It's going up and down, up and down, up and down. And here's your midpoints, Aries and Libra, right there. That's at the equator. This, the analemma, represents the same thing, the same positions. The only added thing that the analemma is doing is it's also showing speed. That's explained in other videos, but you can see here Aries, here Taurus, here Gemini, here, and then just this looping here as you take a photo shows how the sun is moving quicker on this side and slower on this side. But the sun is not ending up in the same place every day like this, in a straight line. It's showing us that in the spring, the sun is in one spot, where at the fall, the sun is in another spot. Summer, it's up there, and winter, it's down there. Here, making your sign of the cross. So that is represented here, which is represented here, which is represented what you see in the sky. And which is represented here. This also adds the extra layer of taking this a little more three-dimensionally and putting it right over your head, like this guy here. So instead of it being flat, like I've shown it here, it's over his head like this. So the sun in Sagittarius right now. So the moon here in Gemini. So when it's over your top of your head like this, the sun is low compared to you, and the moon is high compared to you. So this is showing the vertical height. So this position has a certain frequency that it's providing for us. And the same goes for the sun. The sun's position in Gemini is high in the sky. Sun's position in Cancer is high in the sky. Capricorn is lower in the sky. Aries and Libra are more mid-sky. That's all this means. This is the science of the universe. Ecliptic, the sine wave, its vortex, they all mean the same thing. It's their path. And each of those positions provide frequency to us that we are supposed to learn what it means, how to utilize it. This is the science. This is the knowledge we need to learn. So each of these positions has a mineral assigned to it. Just like the sun is gold and the moon is silver, and all the wandering stars have elements assigned to them, that's what's assigned to these positions, which also have constellations named after them. We have potassium phosphate, sodium sulfate, potassium chloride, calcium fluoride, not to be confused with toothpaste fluoride, different. Magnesium phosphate, potassium sulfate, sodium phosphate, calcium sulfate, silica, calcium phosphate, sodium chloride, and iron phosphate. Because you are born into sin. S-I-N, S-I-N-E, sign, sin, sign, sign. Because you're born into a sign. And those minerals are frequencies. That's given to you from the sun, reacting with the womb amniotic fluid, so water. So electricity is conducting through you from the sun. And you're born into that sign, which is why you have certain characteristics. Now, you do have 3 months that you were not in the womb receiving that frequency. So each of those minerals are frequency. Don't think in particles, you gotta think in frequency and vibration. So there were 3 you were not, you're lacking. You have them, but they deplete very easily, and so they need to be replenished often. And without those, that's where we have different sicknesses. So it's a whole puzzle that is supposed to be figured out. Each of these positions in the sky also represent a body part on you. We start with your cerebrum at number 1. You have your cerebellum, your lungs, Gemini, the 2 twins, Cancer, the breast, Leo, the heart, the lion heart, Virgo, the solar plexus, where the chrism seed is born. Libra, the kidneys, the balance, Scorpio, the reproductive organs, Sagittarius, the thighs, Capricorn, the knees, Aquarius, the white blood cells, Pisces, the red blood cells, also the 2 fish or the 2 feet. They have other body parts that are represented with them, but that's the basic right there.